The day started like any other, but within hours, the internet was shaken with breaking news that no one saw coming. Headlines began flashing across multiple outlets. Porsha Williams taken into custody. At first, many fans thought it was just another rumor, the kind that often follows celebrities around. But this time, things were different. Soon, photos and shaky videos began circulating online, showing police officers surrounding Porsha as she was led away. People could hardly believe what they were seeing. The woman who was always dressed in designer clothes, walking red carpets and smiling in front of flashing cameras, now looked tense and overwhelmed. On social media, confusion turned into chaos. Within minutes, her name was trending worldwide, and thousands of fans were commenting under every post that mentioned her. Some refused to believe the reports, writing things like, "This has to be fake. Porsha would never be in that kind of situation." Others were more skeptical, claiming that celebrities often hide secrets behind closed doors. The online world became divided, half defending her with passion and loyalty, while the other half accused her of finally being caught in something they had long suspected. The shock was not limited to fans. Even media personalities and entertainment reporters were left stunned. Many of them admitted on live television that they had no idea what could have possibly led to this. For years, Porsha had built her image as a strong, independent woman who knew how to handle herself in the spotlight. She had dealt with rumors before, but never anything that looked this serious. Seeing her escorted by authorities felt unreal, almost like a scene from a movie rather than real life. As the videos continued spreading, whispers about the reason behind her arrest began to grow louder. People speculated about financial scandals, personal betrayals, or even conflicts within her inner circle. Nothing was confirmed yet, but the energy online was heavy with anticipation. Everyone wanted answers, and they wanted them fast. The shocking truth, however, was that this was only the beginning of a story that would spiral into something even bigger than anyone had imagined. Long before the shocking arrest made headlines, there were already signs that not everything was as perfect as it appeared in Porsha Williams's life. To the public, she was the confident reality TV star who always carried herself with elegance. But behind the cameras, tension had been slowly building. Close friends and industry insiders had noticed a change in her circle. Whispers about disagreements, secret arguments, and broken trust started surfacing months earlier, but most people ignored them, believing they were just baseless rumors. One name kept coming up during those whispers: Simone. She was once considered a trusted friend and someone who knew Porsha better than most. Their relationship had always been complicated, filled with ups and downs, but lately it had reached a breaking point. People close to both women noticed how the bond that once looked unshakable now seemed fractured beyond repair. Simone, who had been quiet for a long time, began pulling away, and some insiders claimed she was collecting information in silence, waiting for the right moment. At the same time, rumors began spreading in the entertainment industry that Porsha might be connected to certain questionable dealings. Nothing was ever confirmed, but the whispers grew louder. Fans saw her smiling on screen, attending glamorous events, and living her usual lifestyle. But behind the curtain, she was under pressure. Financial issues, trust problems within her team, and personal disputes created a storm that no one could see from the outside. Simone, watching all of this unfold, felt she had reasons to step forward. Whether it was revenge, justice, or simply the need to reveal the truth, she began preparing herself. The distance between the two women became clearer with every passing week, and those around them sensed that something big was about to happen. But no one could have predicted how explosive the situation would turn once Simone decided to take action and expose what she had. For weeks, Simone remained silent, but her silence was not without reason. Behind the scenes, she was carefully gathering proof, screenshots, and documents that she believed would change everything. Simone had been close enough to Porsha to know her private conversations, her business moves, and even her hidden struggles. Slowly, she began compiling what she called her receipts, the kind of evidence that no one could easily deny. The turning point came late one evening when Simone decided she could no longer hold back. In a move that stunned everyone, she went public with her claims. She released a series of screenshots, voice recordings, and what appeared to be financial records connected to Porsha. Within minutes, these receipts were being shared all over social. Fans couldn't scroll without seeing Simone's posts, and the detail in the leaks left people speechless. The evidence didn't look vague or made up. It looked solid, almost impossible to ignore. Simone didn't stop there. Along with the receipts, she added captions and statements that hinted at betrayal, dishonesty, and hidden truths that Porsha never wanted the world to see. Some of the leaked conversations suggested conflicts over money, while others hinted at private deals that raised eyebrows. Each post Simone made added fuel to the fire, and every new detail spread like wildfire. The reaction was immediate and explosive. Some fans were quick to side with Simone, praising her for exposing what they saw as the real Porsha. Others were furious, accusing Simone of being jealous, bitter, or simply trying to destroy someone she once called a friend. But regardless of opinions, one thing was clear: the receipts were now out in the open, and the damage had already been done. What had started as whispers in the background was now a public storm too big to contain. Simone's actions set off a chain reaction that even she couldn't fully control. The media picked up her posts within hours, and soon major outlets were reporting on the leaks. The receipts had moved beyond gossip. They had caught the attention of people who had the power to investigate further. For Porsha, the nightmare was only just beginning. The moment Simone's receipts hit the internet, the reaction was like an explosion. Social media became a battlefield, with thousands of people commenting every second. On platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, Porsha's name dominated every trending list. People could not stop talking about the screenshots, the recordings, and the files that had been exposed. Some fans were in shock, writing messages filled with heartbreak. "I can't believe this. Porsha was my role model. How could this be true?" Others were quick to attack her, saying this was the proof they had been waiting for, claiming she had always seemed too good to be true. Entertainment blogs and gossip pages wasted no time in jumping on the story. Within hours, articles flooded the internet with headlines like, "Receipts reveal the hidden life of Porsha Williams," and "Simone exposes the truth no one saw coming." Talk shows began covering the leaks, inviting analysts, insiders, and even psychologists to discuss what this meant for Porsha's career and personal image. Television networks ran segments, replaying Simone's posts and receipts, while showing clips of Porsha's glamorous past moments to highlight the contrast. As the story gained momentum, the backlash grew harsher. Brands that once proudly associated themselves with Porsha quietly began pulling back, not wanting to be linked to the controversy. Some even deleted old social media posts featuring her, which made the situation look even worse. Public opinion started shifting rapidly. Fans who once defended her began distancing themselves, unsure of what to believe anymore. For every comment in support of her, there were hundreds demanding answers and accountability. The frenzy didn't stop online. Outside her home, paparazzi crowded the streets, hoping to capture any reaction or statement from Porsha. Neighbors reported seeing flashing cameras day and night, as the media circus refused to die down. News fans lined up, and reporters shouted questions anytime they spotted someone from her inner circle. It felt as if the world had turned against her overnight, and there was no place left to hide. Meanwhile, Simone kept fueling the fire. Each day, she hinted that more evidence was coming, keeping the public hooked and hungry for the next revelation. The promise of additional receipts created an ongoing cycle of suspense and speculation. The more Simone spoke, the more the media amplified her voice, and the louder the backlash against Porsha became. What made everything worse was that Porsha remained silent during these days. Her silence was interpreted in many ways. Some believed it was a sign of guilt, while others thought she was just waiting for the storm to pass. But the truth was that the pressure was reaching a point where silence was no longer an option. The noise was too loud, and the demand for answers too strong. For the first time in her career, Porsha Williams was not in control of her own story, the public was. As the media frenzy grew louder, the storm around Porsha could no longer be contained to gossip and speculation. The evidence Simone had leaked didn't just capture the attention of fans and blogs, it caught the eyes of authorities. What started as online drama quickly turned into something far more serious. Behind the scenes, officials began reviewing the receipts, analyzing whether any of the claims pointed to legal issues. The pressure on law enforcement increased as the leaks spread, and soon an official investigation was launched. For days, whispers circulated might be questioned. People wondered if the stories were exaggerated or if there was truly something criminal hidden beneath her glamorous image. Paparazzi cameras followed her everywhere, capturing her every move, from stepping out of her car to walking into buildings. Each photo was dissected, with headlines asking, "Is she hiding something?" and "Will Porsha speak out?" But instead of calming down, the tension only grew heavier. Then came the day no one expected. Early in the morning, reports surfaced that officers had arrived at Porsha's residence. Neighbors described seeing police vehicles parked outside, and moments later, photos began to spread online showing Porsha being escorted by authorities. She looked visibly shaken, trying to keep her head down as cameras flashed nonstop. The image of a once celebrated star now in custody shocked millions around the world. The news channel switched to live coverage almost instantly. Helicopters captured aerial shots, while reporters outside her home delivered updates every few minutes. Online, fans were torn between disbelief and anger. Some defended her fiercely, saying she was being targeted unfairly, while others felt justice was finally being served. Regardless of opinions, one thing was undeniable: the arrest was real, and it had officially taken the scandal to another level. Authorities released a short statement confirming that Porsha was being taken in for questioning related to Simone's evidence. They did not share many details, but the confirmation was enough to send shockwaves across the entertainment industry. Suddenly, this wasn't just a personal drama between two women. It was a legal matter with consequences that could reshape Porsha's entire career. For Porsha, the moment was devastating. The woman who had spent years building her reputation, overcoming challenges, and fighting for her place in the spotlight was now facing her darkest hour. Cameras captured every second of her being led away, images that would stay etched in people's memories. Whether she was innocent or guilty no longer mattered in that moment. The world had already seen her arrested, and the damage was done. The aftermath of Porsha's arrest was nothing short of heartbreaking. For her fans, it felt as if the world had turned upside down overnight. Social media, which once celebrated her every move, was now flooded with tears, anger, and confusion. Some supporters shared old clips of her smiling and laughing, saying they couldn't believe that the woman they admired so much was now facing handcuffs. Others felt betrayed, questioning if everything they had believed about her strength, honesty, and independence was just an illusion. The emotional weight of the scandal spread far beyond the headlines. It touched the hearts of people who had grown up watching her, who had found inspiration in her journey. Inside her family circle, the situation was even more painful. Relatives who had always stood proudly by her side were now struggling to process what had happened. For them, Porsha was not just a celebrity, she was a daughter, a sister, a loved one. Seeing her name dragged across every channel and newspaper cut deeply. Friends described the atmosphere as heavy and tense, with family members torn between supporting her and protecting themselves from the storm of criticism. Everyone close to her felt the weight of shame and sadness, knowing that the world was watching their every reaction. Meanwhile, Simone faced her own share of emotions. On one side, she stood firm, defending her decision to leak the receipts. She insisted that she had only spoken the truth, that she had revealed what people deserved to know. But on the other side, the backlash against her was also strong. Many accused her of betrayal, calling her disloyal and heartless for exposing someone she had once called a friend. Simone tried to justify her actions, but deep down, she also carried the burden of knowing that her choices had destroyed not only Porsha's reputation, but also their friendship forever. For Porsha's team, it became a battle of damage control. Her representatives released short statements claiming that the receipts were manipulated and that the arrest was based on misunderstandings. They pleaded with the public to wait for the truth, to not rush to judgment. But in a world driven by headlines and viral content, their words were drowned out. The image of Porsha being taken away by authorities had already become stronger than any official statement. The emotional fallout reached a point where no one could remain unaffected. Fans cried, critics celebrated, family members mourned, and Simone stood in the middle of a storm she had created. In the end, the arrest was not just about legal consequences. It was about broken trust, shattered reputations, and wounds that would take a very long time to heal. The world had seen Porsha fall, and now everyone waited to see if she would